Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the launch of the Canadian Centre for Financial Literacy's Case for Financial Literacy Report and Community Consultation. We're delighted to have so many of you joining us here today. And I'd like to say a special shout out to the TD Bank, who is our very generous sponsor of today's event. Thank you. Thank you all very much for coming here today to help us launch this important report and to help us reflect on how together we can help build the financial literacy of low-income Canadians. And as many of you know, TD is the co-founder of the Canadian Centre for Financial Literacy and a driving force in the support of community-based financial literacy across Canada.
We applaud what SEDI has been doing, the groundbreaking work in this area that they've been doing, which is focused on building partnerships and training frontline staff in community-based organizations so they can provide support in the training to low-income populations. The Center provides tools and resources that trainers need, like quality curriculum and evaluation tools that help people make sound financial decisions. As one of Canada's leading financial institutions, TD recognizes that we have a particular responsibility in helping Canadians gain skills, knowledge, and confidence to make responsible financial decisions in their lives. And we do take this responsibility very seriously.
So it is my privilege to help shine a spotlight on the tremendous work that some of these organizations, some of you organizations have been doing, particularly SEDI, the Social and Enterprise Development Innovations, as well as the Canadian Centre for Financial Literacy. And I'd particularly like to congratulate the author of this report, Jennifer Robson, of the Riddell Graduate Program in Political Management at Carleton University. Work like this is invaluable to governments who reach out to experts wherever we can to set about the introduction of the kinds of policies that make a real and lasting difference in Canadians' lives. Helping Canadians plan for the future, make sound decisions, and ensure the financial security of their loved ones are essential skills in this increasingly complex world.
So what does the report say? I know you're dying to know. First, that financial literacy is a basic need for every Canadian. Regardless of one's means or education, it is impossible to navigate the complex financial choices we all face every day without a minimum level of financial knowledge, skill, and confidence. Second, that low-income and vulnerable Canadians are not necessarily less financially literate than other people, but face real challenges when it comes to getting accurate financial information and advice that fits with their lives and meets their needs. The financial choices that low-income people have to make and the context in which they make them are very different than those of higher-income Canadians. On this basis, community financial literacy programs play a critical role in translating basic financial information and advice and adapting it to respond more directly to the life context and needs of vulnerable Canadians. These programs also help shine a light on systemic barriers that low-income people face when dealing with both government and private sector financial products, services, and policies. We can't just assume that by educating people that we can solve their financial challenges. We need to also look at the systems and the products and services available to them. The report also tells us that there is substantial, if not yet extensive, evidence that these interventions can make an important contribution to the well-being of vulnerable groups in the context of other factors that shape their financial outcomes. Financial literacy supports for low-income and vulnerable groups can, if done well, improve savings behavior, reduce self-reported stress, enhance self-efficacy, help establish good financial knowledge, attitudes, and habits in vulnerable youth, lead to better housing outcomes for people moving out of homeless shelters into rental housing, as well as low and modest income homeowners, and help orient newcomers to Canada's banking system and improve their confidence. Financial literacy interventions may be able to help participants better navigate key life transitions, enhance their financial inclusion, improve their access to public benefits to which they are entitled, and help them to manage the effects of windfalls that typically result in clawbacks of income benefits or other critical subsidies and supports they may rely on. Financial literacy staff must first be financially literate themselves. This is why CCFL spends a significant portion of its resources training frontline community staff across Canada to deliver quality financial literacy education content adapted for low-income users. We have the evidence to say with conviction that financial literacy programs can help equip vulnerable Canadians to better navigate the complex financial choices and systems in their lives and enable us together to begin identifying breaking down barriers to their full participation in the financial mainstream of Canadian life.
I guess getting knowledge in financial literacy in their own budgeting. You know, they're able to make the few resources that they have stretch that much further. And, you know, there's more money left at the end of the month than month left at the end of the money. Often, you know, financial literacy comes up among the top things that the guys want to learn.
So Sean, you know, we heard a little bit about the program you were involved with. Part of it was a financial literacy component. Can you tell us how you found it helpful, and give us some examples?
I was living off of $420 a month. That was for everything: rent, food, transportation. Started using the tools that were given to me. I started off saving, I think it was just the minimum $10 a month or $20 a month. But I was able to make other changes in my financial, by having a budget. And I could see what was important and what I needed and what I wanted and make that difference.
Like I said, we're working with you who are in care, and just being in care or just transitioning out of care, you have a lot going on in general. Maybe not right away, but like 6 months later or a year later, because I've been facilitating for now like maybe 3 or 4 years, they come back and they're like, oh, guess what? I got out of debt. Guess what? You know, I started to budget, or, you know, something different. So they come with that newfound excitement that, you know, they have financial knowledge.
You know, from hearing what you've just heard from the panel, does this seem consistent with what the research and evaluation showed you that you explored?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, context really matters when it comes to this stuff. Think about the diversity of the perspectives that are reflected in this room alone. We've got people from the private sector, community sector, so on and so forth. So the field of financial literacy itself is quite, you know, complex and quite diverse. Also, the context that people are working within. You know, think about kids leaving care, people dealing with addictions and substance abuse, cultural differences and all the rest of it. I mean, all of this really does matter in terms of how we think about what financial literacy really is and how it works.